After 35 years at CNBC, Bob Pisani is stepping away from his day-to-day responsibilities as a senior markets correspondent here at the New York Stock Exchange. But fear not, he will be back in force later this year as a significant contributor for CNBC Pro. Here's a look back at Bob's last 3 decades at CNBC.
Bob, this is your very first appearance on the Real Estate Report. Welcome from all of us to you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be working with you. I trust you're not going to let me get too serious about all this.
1993 could be called the year of the first-time buyer. How about your very own bomb shelter?
Ziegler's home is for sale for $5 million plus change, much to the chagrin of his dogs. JR, are you depressed that you might be leaving here?
You know, when I first came down here in March of '96, Maria had been here 7 or 8 months. She was red hot down here, and I said, I want to cover the stock market. Indeed, a historic day down here. A few bumps for IPOs out there. I would call it a double-edged market today. Look what's going public tonight. It made it. Krispy Kreme went public. Yes. Let me just get a little closer to the post. The president has stopped right around the corner. We're getting a lot of buybacks announced. Overall, we're closing right at the highs for the day. We're inside post 9 here. A lot of big stocks are right here, and you're on the inside looking out.
We have a what appears to be a very serious. Is that the World Trade Tower?
Yeah. Bob Pisani has been there all day and has just returned from the streets of Lower Manhattan. What can you tell us, Bob?
Well, I was, Tyler, on the site of the South Tower, what was the South Tower of the World Trade Center. Just getting the markets open is a victory. Secretary Paulson, Bob Pisani from CNBC. Is there going to be an orderly liquidation from Lehman? We don't know. If we settle there, folks, that will be the worst day since 9/11. We were down 200, went down 400 very quickly, and then down 800, nearly 1,000 in a heartbeat. I have never seen the streets so bearish. The Santa Claus rally is happening.
Good job, Bob.
We're driving along the deepest part of the mine right now. Thanks to the World Gold Council and State Street, you are able to buy gold just like it's a stock. Alan, tell us what's going on. What's happening down here? Yay! This is going to be the post for Visa here. Biggest IPO, U.S. IPO in history. Twitter opens at $45.10. BTIG Charity trying to raise $6 million for 300 charities. Here he is, Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille must be getting taller every year.
AirPods are a runaway success, and we're making them just as fast as we can.
I've been wandering around like a homeless person trying to get one. Okay, guys, another 20 minutes. We're taking deli orders. Mr. Pastrami, you go and explain that. Oh, I'm supposed to. Doesn't get any better than this.
Let's get the news from Bob Pisani with all those wonderful posters behind him.
We did 2 billion shares in the first hour.
Thank you, Bob. Hereafter known as Hollywood Bob Pisani.
The crypto ETF world is exploding. The simplest answer may be, don't underestimate the power of a meme stock. We are now almost 400 points higher. I dye my hair gray now, those of you who are wondering about that, to make me look more distinguished.
Bob, I cannot imagine my 30 years, how much they would have been diminished had you not been my colleague for all this time. You
Thank
are
you,
so beloved by so many here, probably number one on everybody's list.
Bob Pisani's here at Post 9.
Wow.
What a reel, man.
What a reel. My hat is off to the editorial team for that. There were things in there I didn't remember at all, including my first moment on the air, September 1990, with the immortal Wayne Shannon, and Ted David was the anchor with me that day on the Real Estate Report.
How did they find that? Of course, you and I have been together for over 31 years as colleagues. You were the original, part of the original. The last, actually, of the original hires, I guess.
I like to call myself the last of the Mohicans. I'm the last person still on the air from the first year. I was hired by 2 very young executives in the summer of 1990, Bob Davis and David Zaslav. Now runs Discover, of course. He was the attorney for us at the time, and he hired both of us. He hired me, both of them. And you know what was amazing? I was the real estate reporter for the first 6 years. I was down here in 93 a few times, but I came in 96, 97 full-time. Maria had been down here for a couple years already. And 4,000 people, you remember what it was like, 4,000 people on the floor, open outcry, screaming at each other. And I didn't know it, but it was the very height of the NYSE. We were becoming the biggest things on television. You'll recall when we started, we had no ratings. And what the ratings that got us all of a sudden in the middle of the 1990s, the internet. Remember the Netscape browser in 1995? All of a sudden, the world discovered the internet, and we were there, and online trading started. So these three things, the internet, online trading, and CNBC, created this whirlwind. And all of a sudden, when I got here in 1997 to 1999, it was the 3-4 greatest years of my life. It was just such an amazing experience to be at this wonderful place at the height of the NYC, the height of capitalism, with the yelling and the screaming on the floor.
I know.
And some of the greatest months and trades of my whole life.
Well, Bob, you've helped us experience all of it, and obviously shared your wisdom, your incredible enthusiasm, and I would mention as well the incredible mentorship you've given to so many. Many of your old producers who've gone on to great things as well. I'm going to miss you so much. You know that.
Well, the important thing is CNBC is onward and upward. And I want to emphasize, I hate the word retiring. That's not happening. I'll be with CNBC Pro. And Pro, of course, we're building out our subscription model, more conferences. And the key to the future now for all of us is building a community of people. Not just television anymore. It's about community. It's about people who are interested in long-term investing, how to stay invested. I like to tell people, what do? We're not just TV reporters. We're in the dreams business. Yep. We're in the business of helping people realize a happy retirement. We're in the business of helping put kids through college. That's what this is. We're like professors teaching people how to make money, how to stay invested, how to be part of the great American capitalist system. That's why I stayed so long, because it was never just a job. It was always sort of a teaching. It was a vocation. And the fact that we were among the founding members of this, it was like a great honor for all of us. And I'm not leaving. I'm just transitioning. Right. I need my poor wife. For 35 years, I've only had two constants: my wife, Suzanne, and my other wife, CNBC. And I promised her after 35 years of leaving her every Monday morning in Philadelphia that I would spend a little more time with her, and it's certainly appropriate.
A lot of this gets reflected in your amazing book, which everybody should read. It's called Shut Up and Keep Talking. But one of the themes of that book is the number of people you got to meet here on this floor, right? The number of personal exchanges. What a gift.
Yeah, probably the greatest month of my life, December 1999. We just had every day somebody amazing. I spent a lot of time with Jack Welch in that month. Muhammad Ali, what it's like to stand next to Muhammad Ali and talk to him. Yep. What an imposing, impressive man he was, even that late. And the greatest moment was Walter Cronkite came on the floor, and I was terrified. My childhood hero, and he had been very critical of punditry amongst cable TV reporters and anchors, and I was terrified he was going to ream me out for being a pundit. And he came over and shook my hand and said, "Now, Bob, tell me about this and how you've become so successful in this network, because business news was not a big thing in the 60s and 70s, and look what you've done. And tell me how you people have accomplished this." And I'm thinking, oh, my God, this is the greatest moment of my life. Walter Cronkite's interviewing me, and I was just so happy. Another great moment. I'm an old rock and roller. Here's an old rock and roller as well, Carl.
Yes.
The Warner Brothers, the Warner IPO in 2005, Edgar Bronfman came on the floor, and he brought Jimmy Page with him from Led Zeppelin. And Jimmy was going to ring the opening bell, and hundreds of us were here with old Led Zeppelin copies of the vinyl, and instead of pressing the bell to ring, Jimmy plugged in his guitar and played the opening to Whole Lotta Love. And we're all screaming, waving Led Zeppelin albums in the air. And I'm waiting over there in the corner. "Come on, Jimmy, come on down the stage. We're all going to get a picture of the whole NYSE." And Bronfman came down and said, "Where's Jimmy?" Jimmy made a right, went onto the street. Jimmy didn't like hanging out with crowds too much. I said, "This is Jimmy Page, are you kidding?" But you can still see it on the internet.
Speaking of pictures, we do have a shot of you with Buffett, which must have been another also important moment.
Yeah, in 1997, he came down on the floor, and there were a couple of people really mad. That man on the right is Jimmy McGuire. That was Warren's specialist for Berkshire Hathaway, and he was one of the two men. He and Art Cashin, the great Art Cashin, were one of the two people that vouched for me. Imagine 4,000 people on the floor, and they don't want to talk to you because they don't really trust you. that man, Jimmy McGuire on the right, vouched for me, and he insisted that I meet Warren Buffett in 1997. That was when Warren Buffett didn't talk to a lot of people, and Warren and I watched Jimmy McGuire open Berkshire that day. You see the wallet he's handing. It was a joke for Warren because he said, everybody keeps asking me about what I'm really thinking, so I might as well just give them my wallet. So he used to do that all the time with people. And even then I said, what are you going to do with your Coca-Cola position? Because he had started buying Coke in 2008. And he said, I'm going to keep it forever. Even then, in 1997, his position was forever. And of course, that's become a bit of a famous phrase in terms of his holdings. But he was just a wonderful, gregarious man, even back in 1997. I can't say enough about Jimmy McGuire and the great Art Cashin, my two mentors who taught me a lot about how the markets work, and particularly Art Cashin, how to tell stories, how not to emphasize the data, the numbers. It's about how you present it and making it easy to understand.
But Bob, you've also been a mentor, as I said, to so many. You've given back so much, and I think that is something we all greatly appreciate. And they can't see right here all the people who are standing here, so many of the people whose lives you've touched as well in terms of just every day here. And then, of course, there's always the after party and the after party.
Yes, the parties keep on going.
Yes.
That's one thing I can make sure of, and the rock concerts will keep coming, and he'll keep going to the rock concerts.
And it's just taking a little time, because without you here, it's going to be very difficult. But you're coming back.
Yes, and my wife used to say, whatever happened, we're going to go live in Phuket, and whatever happened, you'll write another book, and you'll become a pundit. And the short answer is my wife's booking a trip to Phuket. That's what we're doing, and a little time in the Caribbean, and but we will be back.
Do you want to send us off today with a final reflection on thoughts on the market right now?
I think the key thing about the market right now is it's settled down because the tariff issues have settled down. 10% tariffs on our closest trading partner is still fairly high. That means that everybody else is likely going to be higher. So that's what we have to resolve here. You saw the earnings situation, 275 for the year, now down to 265. Some people only have 5% increases. But if we can somehow get a little more clarity around that, I think that things are going to be much better. We seem to be taking the probability of recessions off the table. That's what the market is starting to say right now. So the important thing, what I tell people is this will pass. Remember March 2009, remember middle of 2000, remember March 2020. Remember all that, and yet the market recovered. So everyone who says, oh my gosh, should we sell what? No. You should not do anything crazy when the market is crazy. Jim Cramer has been emphasizing this. We all have for many, many years. Consistent long-term investing. Understand your risk profile, how much risk you can take, and stick with it. And don't ever try to think you can trade your way out of a difficult situation. You're going to lose. If there's anything that I have to show anyone what this network is about, it's consistency wins. The stock market is a winner's game. It is not a casino. The stock market is the opposite of a casino long term. If you try to bet every single day and trade in and out, it can be like a casino. Long term, though, you are a winner. Long term, we know investors long term win in the stock market. We have the statistical evidence to prove it. So it's a winner's game long term if you know how to play it right. And that's what CNBC is all about. And that's what CNBC Pro is going to be all about and still is all about.
We're so proud and happy for you, Bob. I think you're on wireless, right? You're on a wireless? There's some people here who are anxious to say hello, and I think they're expecting you to walk over and engage in a long-standing New York Stock Exchange tradition.
We're going to do that right now. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
It's hard to understand what an emotional moment this is. This has been my home for almost 30 years with these wonderful people here. And I told you there were 4,000 people 20 years ago. Well, there's still a lot of people on the floor, as you can see. There is nobody who is suddenly empty down here. These people are dedicated. They're enthusiastic, and they're going to be really, really happy to continue the tradition here at the New York Stock Exchange. Lynn, thank you very much, and I appreciate everything that you have done.
Thank you. Thank you for all of the years of partnership, for showcasing our amazingly vibrant community. You are, have been, and always will be a member of the DNA that runs through this place. Thank you.
That means I can keep my badge. Thank you very much. That's what I wanted to hear. Carl, David, Leslie, thank you so much for the beautiful tribute. And thank you, the guys at CNBC and the women who put together that beautiful tribute. I can't tell you how much it means to me and how happy you've made me. Carl, I'm going to throw it back to you. And again, folks, it's not a goodbye. It's just a transition. Carl, back to you.
Bob Pisani. Squawk on the Street. Back after this.